Hey everybody, how's it going? So today I am really excited to be doing a full collection video covering every custom printed Lego minifigure I've collected since like 2011, 2012. Believe it or not, this is a video that never really even occurred to me to do until recently. How I just realized how many of these minifigures I've collected over the years. It's kind of been like a secondary hobby of mine next to customizing, but really the secondary hobby of mine is definitely action figure collecting. That's always been a huge deal for me that you'll see in the eventual room tour video. But next to that, of course, all these custom printed minifigures that I've picked up from various sellers like my buddy Andrew from AV Figures or PhoenixCustomBricks, CloneArmyCustoms, of course, Tyler Page, who started it all for me, and then of course like Christo or EclipseBricks back there, Lab 9, just so much talent in one picture that it's honestly just really inspiring what is possible with printing and plastic injecting and all those various different processes that are required to make minifigures like this. It's really cool, man, and I cannot wait to run you through all of these minifigures. It should be pretty fun. Beginning with PhoenixCustomBricks, Adam's pad printed minifigures with the plastic injected accessories are really what bring you the closest to official Lego quality, which is why they are a huge highlight of my collection. Especially the Dark Knight Trilogy Batman that he sent out for me to review last year. This is still probably my favorite minifigure out of the entire collection, because I really still don't think a Christian Bale Batman minifigure is ever going to get much better than this. And speaking of the Dark Knight Trilogy, we do of course also have Selina Kyle, who he released just recently, another definitive minifigure who I really again don't think gets much better than that, along with Dr. Jonathan Crane. I'm considering doing a review on these two still, along with Harvey Dent, Two-Face from The Dark Knight. Of course, you probably saw Jane Foster. This Jane Foster Thor minifigure, apparently a lot of passion went into this one because it took like 2 years to get out the door, but as you can see, just an absolutely phenomenal minifigure with those ABS accessories and all of that pad printing. I mean, it is pretty impressive. And speaking of more Marvel minifigures, we do of course have a ton of Spider-Man suits, beginning with Spider-Man Far From Home tech suit, along with the Iron Spider suit from Avengers Infinity War, two recent acquisitions of mine because I actually missed out on them when Adam first had them up and I had to get them through another reseller. But we also do have his Civil War 2016 Stark Tech suit, along with the Spider-Man Homecoming homemade suit, and of course poor Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man from 2014, one of his earlier minifigures. And speaking of earlier minifigures, my first minifigure I ever got from Phoenix was the stealth suit Cap from Captain America Winter Soldier, along with Mystique, and we've also got Spider-Gwen as well, another minifigure that I picked up recently, even though he sold out and he actually wound up restocking a long time later, so that was definitely pretty cool a few months ago, especially considering how big of a fan I am of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And then finally, another huge highlight is his Captain America, which has the first ever and I think the best Chris Evans likeness on a Lego minifigure head, as you probably saw in my first Avengers Endgame showcase. We can't forget Daredevil. He did not make it into the shot. He just kind of got caught up in the mix, but another great figure from Adam, who I actually think I managed to give him the reference for back when he was designing it in like 2015 when this figure was made. Then one of my best friends, Andrew, over at AV Figures, with Captain Rex, Commander Cody, ARC Trooper 5s, and Commander Bly, all four of these water slide decal clones he provided for the 10th anniversary celebration videos for Star Wars The Clone Wars last year. He also collaborated with me on Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, and Avengers Infinity War back in 2018. And speaking of Avengers Infinity War, as he began to move into more and more printing and as he's making his own parts, one of the first steps in that direction was his Mark 50 from Avengers Infinity War. Just an amazing, amazing printed Iron Man minifigure. Everything that Andrew is up to over on his store, man, it is just incredible. All that you see here is just a tiny, tiny, tiny little piece of everything going on over at AV Figures, and I definitely could not recommend it enough. You probably also noticed the Iron Patriot Mark II painted cast from Tuminio Microme, offering some of the absolute best parts for all of the most recent new movies and shows. I cannot wait to work with this sculpt in making my own Iron Patriot Mark II minifigure. And you probably also remember I used his Mark 85 wings for the first Endgame showcase, and I've got more stuff coming in from him, and I absolutely cannot wait for you guys to see it. Definitely recommend you definitely check out his store. He's got some amazing parts over there. You'll probably remember Darth Plagueis literally from my last video. This minifigure by BigKidBrix was too cool to pass up, and finally having a minifigure of one of my favorite Sith Lords of all time from my favorite Star Wars book of all time is just too cool, and still just a huge highlight of my collection now, and it's awesome. Next up, Eclipse Graphics. Victor over at EclipseBricks.com, of course, just an absolute legend in the community. As you can see, this minifigure from Avatar from several years back, still amazing and just looks perfect. Some phenomenal design work and great printing here. Always sticks out in the collection, along with Cyclops and Jean Grey from the X-Men, and then of course Captain America in the stealth suit from the Winter Soldier, his version of the design from 2014, along with Kevin Hinkle, formerly with Lego, and he would give out these minifigures at conventions basically as his business card, and it was pretty fantastic. Having little Lego Kevin in the collection is always pretty hilarious. And then also you've got the Portal character, I forget her name, another great figure from Victor, along with all these guys from the modern combat space, and just really cool looking with this like cyberpunk minifigure as well, who he actually collaborated with Brick Affliction at the time to put together. So I think that's definitely really cool. These minifigures are great, and also a lot of pad printing here as well. And I do have a ton of other accessories from Victor. Let me know if you guys would want to see those in a separate video, because I just have so much in this one organizer. It's kind of crazy. A couple random minifigures to toss into the mix. Two Old Republic troopers from, I have no idea, I forgot, but I remember they were like the first of their kind back in 2011, so about a year after the Old Republic cinematics came out. And then also this Maul, I think, is an official Lego minifigure just with a custom printed head, and I also have absolutely no idea where that head came from. These 5 minifigures came in from the iconic, the elusive Christo, and I mean, it's a very random assortment, isn't it? This is the Flash from 2013, back before Flash minifigures were really even a thing. And this was, of course, inspired by the game. And then also Spider-Man in his first costume from The Amazing Spider-Man in 2011, along with Katniss Everdeen. Some amazing printing and some amazing custom parts on this one. Great likeness to Jennifer Lawrence. And then also Bane and Catwoman from The Dark Knight Rises. Phoenix's is definitely better now. Another couple random figures for you. Tony Stark from LifeBrick, and then also Black Widow, or at least the remains of Black Widow from Dragon Brick, because I'll actually be using the hairpiece and the batons for my custom Black Widow, as you guys might have seen already as we move toward that next Avengers Endgame showcase. OnlineSailin, Spider-Man from Captain America Civil War, the Stark tech suit. This one was always kind of unique because of how vibrant it is, and then also the mesh print that he's got running throughout the majority of the figure. Still a definite standout in the collection for those two reasons. Couple old random German minifigures from BrickArms. I have little to no memory of actually purchasing these. These 3 figures from Chris over at FigFactory, who actually printed the MGF torsos. He's always done some great stuff over there. You can see his Joker from Suicide Squad with a dyed green hairpiece. Loved the tattoos all throughout this minifigure. Still just absolutely fantastic. And his dark red Deadpool from 2016, and his Yondu Udanta, which was inspired by, I believe, the original Yondu figure I made back in 2014, or it might have been the Yondu I made in 2017. I cannot recall, but definitely 3 really cool figures. Back in 2014 and 15, I always remember thinking BrickUltra's digital printing work was super underrated, especially with their comic accurate Ultron minifigure, which is definitely still really awesome, along with his pilot from the first Titanfall game. Just some amazing designs, super detailed, and they really wind up coming through spectacularly through the digital printing, and even to this day, these are really cool. These 5 minifigures I got from Lab 9 Minifigs, featuring all pad printing, along with custom resin pieces as well. This is, of course, Zachary Levi's Shazam from the 2019 film, along with Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. And I was going to use this helmet actually for my custom Captain Marvel, but I wound up using Tuminio's for that instead last year. And then also you've got Miss Marvel here with a really cool wavy custom hairpiece, and then the same thing for Felicia Hardy here, Black Cat. All really great minifigures, especially Agent Carter, Peggy over here on the left, and it was very exciting to finally get a minifigure of her in Lego. But yeah, definitely all favorites of mine. Last two random ones for you. MinifigMaker's Commander Wolf and Brie Vizsla from Star Wars The Clone Wars. Still no idea how he made his waterslide decals look this good, and the laminated accessories are just that much better. And the Brie Vizsla was in storage for quite a while, and I just recently found it, so not in the greatest shape, but still looks really good nonetheless. Finally, of course, CloneArmyCustoms. Tyler Page, the guy who started it all and pioneered custom LEGO clone troopers, inspiring me when I was only 9 years old back in 2008 with Spuggastu's Squad 42 alone in the dark. Commander Devis back then in his waterslide decaled form is what inspired me to first pick up a Sharpie and get to work while Star Wars The Clone Wars was airing. And those days, to many of us who were around for those times, consider those kind of like the golden years for all LEGO Star Wars fans. And it's just always so exciting for me to see now just how far Tyler has taken it with CloneArmyCustoms, all of the pad printing and custom plastic injected accessories as he has scaled up and scaled up and scaled up over the years. It is just incredibly inspiring, and it's so awesome to have a few of them here. As you can see, his Commander Devis I actually got recently for a nostalgic value because of how much Commander Devis actually means to me. And then also, of course, Commander Bly, who is my favorite clone trooper as far as appearances are concerned. Still absolutely love his armor. A really cool concept version of ARC Trooper Echo from the final season of Star Wars The Clone Wars coming up. He won't actually look like this in the show, but this is definitely still really, really cool. Some of my favorite minifigures that I own are his Clone Wars style Delta Squad, just the best Delta Squad minifigures that you'll ever find, and also Niner from Omega Squad. Still a shame that Niner is actually Legends. And speaking of Legends, Matchstick sporting the Phase 2 helmet is not something that ever actually happened in the show because Matchstick died, of course, but still a really cool minifigure I picked up at one of the Brick fairs. And then also this Imperial Commander from The Force Unleashed is a huge highlight because it's really cool to have what is pretty much my favorite Stormtrooper design, probably actually fully pad printed in LEGO. It definitely looks really cool with Tyler's custom Stormtrooper helmet there. And then also you've got Commander Cody back here with the super cool jetpack piece, and then also Clone Trooper Comet from the Wolf Pack. And so I mean, CloneArmyCustoms though, man, the memories, like I said, it's really the whole reason all of this started in the first place. Finally, the pad-printed Time Heist suit from LifeBrick is definitely a huge highlight. Not the most vibrant red colors, unfortunately those didn't show through too well when this minifigure hit production, but it still looks really great nonetheless, and the designs are wraparound, which is never an easy thing to do, but definitely looks phenomenal, so you definitely get what you pay for as far as the printing quality is concerned. So you throw a Lego Tony Stark head on there, and then a Quantum Time Heist helmet from LifeBrick, and then it just makes for the perfect looking Time Heist suit minifigure. And I've actually got a couple of these helmets to work with, so I cannot wait to use these for future videos. Alright everybody, there you go. That is it for this big video. Every custom minifigure I've collected over the years. And I should mention, it wasn't every custom minifigure. There are still bits and pieces of others scattered across my collection in bags, organizers, or mostly in my storage unit, but for the most part, these are it. This has been all of the ones that are important, that I still value, that are intact. It's still really cool to have all of these together now and just make this video. And let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let me know which ones are your favorites. And yeah, of course, right now I'm working on the Avengers Endgame 2020 project, actively working on finishing up Hawkeye and Black Widow for the next showcase within the next couple weeks. And of course, the progress does always go up over on Patreon first if you want to consider supporting the channel that way. I did just actually post a big, massive new 2020 update, a Darth Plagueis edit, and some other really cool stuff, behind the scenes content for this video and the Rise of Skywalker showcase. Just a really fun time over there. But of course, I do post the preview photos and the edits and all the big stuff as well over on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. As always, all of that happening before any of it reaches the channel here, man. Here on YouTube, the platform where we are now dealing with COPPA in 2020. Welcome to the future, ladies and gentlemen. Uncertainty for channels such as ours. So here's to hoping we all survive and it's not as bad as they made it seem a few months ago. We'll see. But I appreciate you guys being here in the new uncertain decade, and I will catch you guys next time. All right, take care. It's crazy, man. All those years of collecting, oh boy. Other minifigures that you can see we've got here. We've also have the Captain America from the review on it earlier last year. Christian Bale Batman. I still don't think it's really ever going to... Okay, nobody's cooperating today. The Mark 85 wings for my Iron Man Mark 80. I can't remember all this shit.